Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Millennial Generation Z Awards, celebrating a generation. I'm Bob Marone, along with Michael Blakey for Fairfield County Talk Radio. We're live at the Greenwich Hyatt Regency in Greenwich, Connecticut. The show is produced by Shaw Creative and made possible by our Shawcast partners. Tough Lawn Service, they're specializing in tick control, rock landscaping services, Apollo X pest control, MDM sanitation, and professional water systems. And our next guest, or I should say, for all intent and purpose, our first guest, because each one should be considered first, Erin Real. That's right, R-E-A-L, Erin Real. Managing editor of Westfair Communications, the primary sponsors of this event, the Millennial and Generation Z Awards. And she's the managing editor and let me see, Westfair Communications, I should say. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, Bob? You having a good night?
Yeah, I am having a good night, obviously. The guests are easy to talk to and are interesting. Westfair Communications, how long have you been there?
Very recently. I started in September, and we are the publisher of the Fairfield County Business Journal and the Westchester County Business Journal. So we have a long legacy. The paper has been around for a very long time, but I came in to help launch video for the publication. As my background is in broadcast journalism, I've done it for over 15 years now.
Whoa, 15 years. You're pretty young to be starting something 15 years ago.
You think?
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling old. I'm an elder millennial here at this event tonight.
But you are a millennial.
I am. I made it.
Does that make me an extremely older millennial?
It's fine. We're all millennials.
I'm
right?
a boomer. No, I'm not a
boomer?
millennial. Well, good for you, but this is a big job. It's a good job. Managing editor for something that has a tradition is a little harder even than starting something new. And you've got a lot of responsibility. Tell me what it is.
Indeed. A lot of responsibility, but a lot of room for growth and a lot of excitement. And I think as a career as a journalist, as you would know, whether it's radio or video or print, whatever the format may be, the world we live in today has so many avenues for which to deliver stories, content, and being able to kind of helm a new team, but yet a new team with very seasoned journalists. I have to tell you that the journalists that we have at Westfair are incredible, and ushering in video and other forms of broadcast are an exciting opportunity. And then when you have the seasoned, no longer green journalists working under you, it makes my job much easier. So while it is a big responsibility, it's also quite a treat to be working with people who know what they're doing and then really just kind of let them do their own thing and guide us in the new world that we're entering in terms of digital.
Well, I can infer from what you've said, you're not as concerned about content as you're going to be about delivery vehicles, whether it's going to be video, digital, in addition to the written word. What's your biggest challenge now then?
Well, I would respectfully disagree with that. We're very concerned with content. Content is king, and we want to have the best content. And I think in the media landscape in which we're living in today, where you have such polarizing views on either side, I can proudly say that Westfair is a straight shooter. We are not pushing anyone's agenda except the truth, and we are finding stories, original content, and by that I mean going out, talking to people in the community, really driving the content by good quality community journalism that takes years of grooming journalists, and not just grooming journalists, but creating your stable of different contacts that you can reach out to. We have all that, and we're not an upstart going for clickbait.
Well, that was exactly what my issue was. I feel comfortable for you that content will be well handled. Do you know which vehicles, you have to use them all, but which vehicles are you most interested in getting your content out there?
Really, whichever one is most appropriate for the story. Some stories are best told via print. If it's a business story particularly, if you're talking about Fed policy or unemployment numbers, not a lot of visuals for those.
No.
So oftentimes those are best told via print, and also maybe graphically is a great way to do it. And we have the ability to do that in the digital age that we are living in. But sometimes a story, if you're talking about Sikorsky Airport, which is actually looking to open their Stratford landing strip is potentially going to become commercial. This is a story we just did 2 days ago. That is a very visual story, which would lend itself to video. So the luxury that we have now is picking whatever format best delivers the news that we're creating. And it's great. We can really go in any avenue, in any direction now, and we're just going to let the story dictate the forum in which we deliver it.
That makes an enormous amount of sense. I mean, from my own background, I've had columns at the same time that I was regularly on the air doing morning news. And it was always a decision to make. Do I write this or do I say it? And I keep thinking about, again, based on what you just said, making that decision is the issue. How are you going to do it? Now, you also mentioned the contacts, the development of relationships. That's huge. And you have to do that now as well, correct?
Absolutely, and it's the reason I think anyone who really loves being a journalist became a journalist. You don't mind getting down to the nitty-gritty, finding the truth, making the contacts, and you like talking to people. If you don't, this probably isn't the field for you. So we have journalists that get out, hit the pavement, really get to know the community, have been embedded in the community for a long time, and we intend to continue to grow that.
Now, when you have a printed word or a word story, something you're going to write, obviously you have a website. Do you find most of your people are looking at the website, or are they still reading it in the hard copy?
Website for sure.
Really?
We had a very, very popular print publication that
I
in
know.
times of COVID we had to pull back a little bit on because people really weren't going into offices, which is where you would generally find our publication. And we intend to relaunch print in the near future. But in the immediate term, we're finding, as many people did in the pandemic, that you pivot, you shift, you evolve with the times. And our website is very strong. We're actually doing a big relaunch in about a week or two. I don't know the exact date. I can't give it today.
Well, that's
but
exciting.
It's very exciting, and it's going to make the website easier to navigate, more comprehensive, and just deliver more content to our readers.
That's so important to hear you say that the website is the answer. It seems to be the way things are moving. They once did a feature on me back in the day.
There you go, because we know good people.
No, that's what it is. No, I was doing morning radio, and then I also took over a Chamber of Commerce, and one of your writers did a piece about it. This is fantastic, and I think they're in good hands. I can say that.
Kind of you
now,
to
where were
say.
you before? Before we say goodbye to you, what did you do before this?
Prior to this, most recently, I was a broadcaster for CNN Business Broadcasting from the NASDAQ. But I started my career, believe it or not, overseas in Singapore, working for ESPN. So I started in motorsports and tennis, and then took a long journey back home. I grew up in Westchester, so this is my home base. Came home and started my, I guess, business-ish career in Trenton, New Jersey, which has plenty to talk about.
I know
news.
Trenton well. I have a house in Cranberry, not far from
yeah,
there.
right
Okay,
there,
yeah,
right there.
okay.
And I mean, if you want to talk about, this is not a knock on Trenton. I love Trenton, but if you're looking for some political corruption and some
You could always take a
murders,
little hop to Camden and even get some more.
You can find it. It's great. And if you're a journalist and you want to cut your teeth, go to Trenton or Camden or any of those cities.
Or any of those
But
places.
quite an education. From there, I went to D.C., was with RT Television, where I got into business, was hosting a finance, mostly macro global economics. We talked a lot of Fed policy, a lot of GDP figures, and then from there, back to New York to CNN, and now I'm at Westfair.
That business stuff does follow you. I was originally a communications guy at a Wall Street firm, and when I first got on radio, I did a lot of business stuff. It never leaves you. And I got lucky. I was in radio during the crash in 2009, so
Wow.
I got a lot of extra gigs. Listen, I think Westfair is in great shape, and congratulations to you. Welcome back from places as far away as Singapore, where I've been. Nice, clean, easy country to live in.
Very
if you follow
easy.
the rules.
If you follow the rules.
Yeah.
And they're not terrible rules all the time.
No, they're not. Erin Real, Managing Editor, Westfair Communications. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you, Bob.
Take care.